In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of the new Fortaleza 2022 Winter Blend right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of this year's Winter Blend, the 2022 Winter Blend from Fortaleza. Now, for those of you that know, this is a tequila that is in high demand and goes for some crazy prices. So today we're going to kind of focus on what kind of prices it's going for and whether it's worth it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tasting portion and see what this tequila is all about. All right, for those of you that don't know, Fortaleza, of course, is made in the traditional manner. They use ripe agave from the Valle that are cooked in brick hornos, and then they're crushed using a taona. After they're done with the crush, it then is fermented in wooden vats, and after fermentation, it is then twice distilled using copper pot stills. After that, it is then aged in barrels for the reposado for no more than 11 months. So for this particular expression, it is what's called a blend. That's why it's called the Winter Blend. So they're blending reposados from both French oak and Hungarian oak barrels and blend them together to create the flavor profile they want. Then they bottle them and send them out as a limited edition because there's only a certain amount of bottles that are made of this. I'm not sure what this current load is, but it's very limited and very hard to find, and it's allocated for the retailers, which means that they are given allotments of how much they'll be able to sell, how much they'll be able to get based on how much Fortaleza they sell during the year. So let's not waste any more time. Let's do the tasting portion and see what this tequila is all about. All right, so first things first, we'll pour a little bit into our Denver and Lily Agave glass. We'll put the cork back in. Now, one of the things that people need to know about Fortaleza corks is they're a little long and stuff. And what happens is they do have a tendency of breaking if you don't remove the cork right. So I'll put this back in, but I'll show you how you're supposed to remove the cork. So when you remove these corks, you want to pull, and while you're pulling, turn. And when you do that, the cork comes out perfectly without any problems. Where they have problems with it breaking is when you just try to bend it and back and forth to pull it out, then it'll break off in the bottle and you'll end up with cork stuck here, and then you have to use a wine cork remover, a wine cork screw, to kind of pull that cork out without trying to push it down into the tequila. If it gets down into the tequila, or pieces of it get into the tequila, then you'll need to filter it out. You can use something like a sift or a coffee filter to filter the cork out, and then find a different cap for the bottle. All right, so that's a little helpful tip for you with your Fortaleza bottles. For those of you that drink Fortaleza, make sure you turn it, and as you turn it, you're pulling up, and then you won't break the cork on it, all right? All right, so let's take a look at this in the glass and see what we get here. So looking at it in the glass, it coats the glass very nicely, of course. You can see the legs and tears forming on the glass. It looks great. Look at that, beautiful. Looking at the tequila itself, crystal clear, has a light straw color to it, not super dark, but kind of on the light side, light straw. I'd say is a good description of that color. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile, or the nose. Let's start with the nose first. It's always good to nose it first. All right, so really nice cooked agave note coming through on it. So the cinnamon and baking spices are coming through on the nose. I'm picking up some vanilla, definitely some caramel notes coming through. A hint of apricot coming through. And some citrus in there as well. Predominant notes, though, are cooked agave. And, of course, vanilla and caramel are coming through nicely on the nose as well. All right, it smells great. So let's see what we get on the flavor profile. We never judge on the first sip. When you get our mouth acclimated to 40% alcohol by volume. This is actually a little higher though. This is 43.5%. So it's a little higher. So we'll take our first sip, rinse it around our mouth a little bit, kind of wait for the stinging to stop. And once that happens, then you're pretty much good to go. Your lips and gums and stuff are used to 40% alcohol. And here we go. Let's see what we get, It's a nice viscous mouthfeel to it. Coats the mouth nicely. Getting with cinnamon and baking spices up front. Followed by kind of a bittersweet chocolate note that comes through. Vanilla, light caramel on the end. There's this kind of anise kind of bitterness that comes in on the top of it. Hints of apricot coming through as well. A little bit of cherry in there. And on the finish, I'm getting this nice caramel note on the finish. It tastes good. It's good. Yeah, it's good. All right, so let's talk about how good it is. This is a really nice reposado. It is. It's a really nice reposado. But is it something that I'd be willing to pay $200 for to get a bottle? No. No. There's plenty of really good reposados out there that you can get that taste just as good, if not better than this, that you can get for $50, $60. So I wouldn't spend $200 for this. What's the most I would spend for it? Honestly, this would make a great $65 reposado. I think it'd be spot on at $65. I think the fact that it's selling for $199 is kind of ridiculous, and I wouldn't pay $199 for it. I don't, since it's limited edition, and since it's kind of hard to get, if you really, really wanted to get it, $169.99 is not bad, because I know what the wholesale price for this is. The wholesale price to the stores is $90. It's $90. So at a $90 price tag, what these retailers are marking it up for, they're making some good money on this. So they don't really need to be that greedy. But since people are willing to pay that kind of money, you can't blame them, right? So the only information I can give for you guys is if you're not willing to pay it, it sits on their shelves, they're going to have to lower the price in order to sell it. So just refuse to buy it. Refuse to buy it. You should be able to get this somewhere, hopefully, for like $139, $149, which would be fine. It's still, I think, way overpriced for a reposado. There's other reposados I would rather spend my money on that are just as good, if not better than this. So it's just a matter of FOMO. It's fear of missing out. What you may want to do is just get a bunch of people together. Everybody chips in $10 and you get a bottle that way. And then everybody gets a pour, gets to try it, and you get to share it amongst a group of people. That may be a good idea to handle it if you can get a bottle. But with some of the prices that some of these retailers are selling it for, try a different reposado. Really. Try something else. You'll find some stuff out there that's really good. That's a third of what they're charging for this stuff. And you'll be extremely happy. You're not really missing out on anything. Okay. So there you go. If you like the information I shared, click the thumbs up button. Give me a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Tequila Hombre community. Make sure you click that subscribe button right there and the notification bell right next to it, so you get notified every time we post a video or go live. I do live streams a couple times a week, as well as post videos a few times a week. And we'd love to see you at some of the live streams, as well as commenting on some of the videos. And like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So if you want to spend the money on the Fortaleza Winter Blend, it's good. You're going to like it. But is it worth it? I don't think so. And until next time, salute. Bye, guys.